Hi, you're with Cornell Thomas from PowerPositivity.net. I am happy to introduce our first installment of Focused. I am with my brothers, Dave and Troy from Oola, and we're going to ask them a couple questions about how they got to where they are right now and how they got on their path. So, Dave and Troy, first, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thanks for having us.
I don't only have to give you a little bit of money.
We're
pretty cheap, $20 each.
It's awesome.
My first question is, how did you guys get started in Oola? Like, how did this all come up?
The long story would be like 15, 16 years ago, I interned with Troy.
Okay.
And we would meet every year in December, and we would have a 3-day meeting. We'd meet in Vegas.
Okay.
And there's a little story of this in the book.
Yeah.
But we would meet and we would go through first day, like, where are we in all 7 areas? Where are you with your family, your faith, fitness? And Troy brought this concept to us because it was like, we don't want to be loaded and then be like out of shape and you know having family issues. You want to be balanced in all the areas. So the first day would be, where are you? And the good thing about buddies is they would be like, dude, you're not even close to being as fit as you think. Like, you got to work harder. You got to do this. And then the next day would be like, where do we want to go? And then the next day is, how are we going to get there? And that would be where you bounce stuff off each other. Because if, like, I want to get fitter and I want to run a marathon this year, and Troy's where he ran a marathon, he could kind of tell me how to do that. Okay. So then we'd put our plan together, and then we would call each other every couple of weeks and just make sure we were staying on track. And then we'd meet again in the summer, just make sure all of our goals would be hit. So you don't get a year down the road and you're like, I missed everything. And the whole basis behind the Oola life is that. It's like, where are you? Where do you want to go? And how are you going to get there? How are you going to balance and grow your life in those areas? So that's kind of how it all started. And then through me losing it, losing my Oola, and then on the way getting it back, that's how the book came about and that type of thing. So
awesome. My next question for you guys is, I know that for me personally, when I read the book, balance was the hardest thing for me. I never had that balance. I was telling you guys before that with basketball, I was just always so driven. What do you say to someone that says, you know what, I don't have a lot of time for the faith part, or I don't have a lot of time for the friends part or the fun part? Like, how do you balance all that? That's like
a great question, because you just answered that to a guy today.
Yeah, we're here at an event promoting the book, and there was a guy who came up right in my face, kind of, because I'm just going to be devil's advocate. He said, some of the most successful people in life are like, and he rattled off a couple names that were really good at one aspect of their life. And I just went right back at him, and I said, if I could sit these people down at the end of their days, or as they age and become a little more wise, are they truly happy at a level of fulfillment? Not like I have tons of friends who have crushed the business world. They are loaded. They are divorced 3 times. Their kids don't talk to them. They have health issues because they're overweight. But everyone's looking at their material success, but I would argue that their life's not a success. And we were talking about a runner who endorsed the book, an Olympian. And she read the book and loved the book because she was always identified as a runner. But as we age, we realize we have different chapters in our life and different phases, and wiser people, people older than us, have taught us that if you have a balanced life, you're deeply fulfilled. We as a society pursue happiness. That's the thing we are as a culture. Our grandparents, they just food and shelter. We've kind of got, I'm not happy. If I'm not happy, I'm going to go buy something. If I'm not happy, I'm going to drink something. If I'm not happy, I'm going to do something extreme and go on a roller coaster to make me happy. But we're talking about Oola is deeper than that. It's being balanced is fulfilled. And the people who are most fulfilled, if you study them, have this balance we're talking about.
The coolest quote in the book, and I think it's in one of your chapters, is that if you constantly seek happiness, you'll be depressed all the time. But if you seek balance and growth in your life, you seek Oola, along that journey, you're going to repeatedly find happiness.
You're going to meet happy many times. And that's exactly it, is you'll experience, and it's a depth of, I don't even like the word happy so much anymore, but it's a depth of fulfillment that just feels it. I think you're feeling it some. On your own journey, we feel it, and if you get off it, if you get too... The one part I want to clarify, though, it's not, you don't take a day and divide it by 7 and get X amount of minutes. There are times, right now, this is career for us, man. We're spreading a message we believe in. If I'm home playing basketball with my son or skating, we're skating. I'm not thinking about work. And there are seasons in your life, like if you're in college basketball and that's your thing, you're crushing it. And you are pretty much doing that, but then as you look at your whole life, that's where you want the balance. So there'll be a time that, okay, that was that season. Now I need to find a career, or now I need to invest time in my family and with my spouse.
Well, see, one thing that we talk about a lot for my blogs, and we've talked about this before, is just dealing with that adversity. So in my story, when I got injured, that kind of changed my life around. Can you guys give me just one story, one period in your life, you know, and again, I read the book, so I know.
You just want one?
Just one. I mean,
where do you want me to start?
Take it.
Yeah.
I'm the
Dave,
seeker.
Dave, you take this one for me.
So when I was 4, I'm just so my biggest thing for sure was when my marriage, when I got divorced, because that was definitely the point where you start to real quickly hit bottom, you know. And we were always, I felt like I was really good at being a family man and a husband, and my ex-wife will still say to this day. But there's points in there where you just kind of lose track, you get out of balance, and you make choices that kind of lead you down this wrong road. And when you kind of hit that bottom, when I reached out and made the call to Troy, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm at a hotel, I'm driving my mom's old Taurus, hand-me-down, $1,500 Taurus, not a nice Taurus, not a new Taurus, and I just need to get back. Like, how do I get back on track? And as you come through that, it's very difficult. And then we talk to a lot of people now that are going through that time, and it just sucks, and they don't see where to go with it. But once you start getting back and you look back at that, you know, it's 4 years for me, and I look back at that, that made me so much stronger. And it makes me appreciate stuff so much more and be more grateful and kind of more humble to, you know, whatever happens to me now financially, wherever I go, my successes are going to mean so much more to me, and I know I'll take care of that so much better than I would have prior to that, you know, that adversity. So that would be the biggest one for me.
Well, lastly, and this is, you know, I tell you guys all the time, I think you guys are killing it. But we met, quick backstory, we met on Twitter. All right, Twitter's a lot better than Facebook. Make sure you write that down. And I decided with my buddy Christian, who's the omniscient person behind the camera that you can't see right now, thank God, to come out to California.
Thank God.
And he's an ugly guy.
I'm with you on that.
Thank you guys. And meet these guys and actually come out and talk to them. I love learning. So I was learning a lot from their posts and their Twitter. And when you're not on top, when you're kind of, you know, working your way on the top, you know, what keeps you guys motivated to do what you do every day? I mean, me and you, Dave, we're a little different where we don't really sleep.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we were talking about how life, you know, motivates you.
He doesn't sleep either.
Yeah, and Troy doesn't sleep either. Chris is the only one that sleeps.
Chris sleeps.
So what keeps you motivated to, like, just do what you do every single day, and where do you see Oola going, say, in the next 5 years? What do you want to do with Oola?
The key with Oola, and a balanced life's not something necessarily new. You know, the principle of a life balance, we broke it down into 7 F's and made it easy to understand and easy to learn. But that concept isn't new. But there's really 2 components to Oola. One is living a balanced life, but the second part is growth. And we firmly believe, I told you this, we were chatting a little earlier, everyone has something to teach me. I don't care who it is, and I can always be better. And if you ever feel you're on top, that's just about when you're gonna get your knees taken out. Because you know, another quote in the book is you're gonna learn to be humble, or you're gonna be humbled. And we recommend learn to be humble, so you don't get humbled. And we just feel we can be better as men, better as fathers, better as teachers, better as whatever role we have in our life. We can be better at it. And I just think we wake up every day pursuing growth. And that's what keeps us moving. And as a company, do you want to talk about the company part?
I'm just touching on personal a little bit. I think it's really hard for me not to be motivated. This is like, it's the funnest thing that you could ever do. I mean, you're helping people, and you're also trying to grow yourself. And there's parts of it where, you know, I reveal my weaknesses, and that there's some parts that's hard to do, but it also motivates you to be like, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and I want to help people so they don't have to go through what I did. Learn from my mistakes, learn from what I did, learn from my victories, that type of thing. And that keeps me motivated. I mean, that's fun. And then you do stuff for, you know, what we talk about in the book is the valve, like what motivates you. My family, I love my kids and that doing stuff for them, and I want to give them those experiences, travel, and the stuff that we like to do for fun. So it's real easy for me to be motivated. As a company, the Oola Life is really reaching out to help others do the same thing it's an online version of helping them, you know, find out where they are, where they want to go, and how they're going to get there. You can talk more on the company.
You talk about what motivates me now. I kind of had it going, you know, retired at 42, but that was cool for a while, but this is actually more exciting. Working probably harder than I've worked in years, promoting this, but when you've seen this and working with kids, and you've seen it in your blog, and just how, if you can help people, and it just, one person, we get that tweet, one tweet, someone says, hey, I read your book, it changed my life. I mean, that's that's priceless. And the more the message gets out there, the more of those messages you hear, it just gets reinforcing. You know, once you've pursued all the material things the world kind of thinks is awesome, which I get that, that's great, I've got my share, but when you can make an impact, and we talk about leaving a mark in someone's life, that's powerful and it's motivating.
Yeah. And for him, you know, for me, it's what I do. But like the story with him is he's retired. He's chilling, like Phoenix chilling.
I was.
Lake house in Minnesota chilling. And I was like, when I talked to him about the concept of what I was doing, like this is what I want to do, like this is helping me and I want to spread this. You know, you think it would be like a hard sale to a guy who's retired at 42, hanging out at a couple vacation homes.
Yeah.
And he was in. He's like, you had me. I'm in. Let's do this. And we make fun of it a little bit, like, how's retirement going? He's working like 80 hours a week. He's tweeting at 3 in the morning. I'm tweeting at 3 in the morning. But it's just you fall in love with it. Just like you love what you do. Yeah. You love the power of positivity. You love that. And once you get into this, you just eat it, and it's just awesome. And that's how it is. It's just easy to do.
It's deeply rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding at a depth that until you've experienced it on one end of it. I've had many people who've influenced my life in a positive way that don't even know it because of something I've read, something I've heard, or something I've learned. And I just know that these concepts work. They work. I mean, it's like gravity. Whether you believe it or not, you on that building and you jump, you're falling.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe in it for it to happen. And if you lead a life that's balanced and growing, and you aspire to do better, you're going to feel deeply fulfilled at the end of it. Plus, the journey is going to be enjoyable.
Yeah, and life is so quick, you know, and we're entering kind of that second chapter, you know, or last chapter. 40.
Oh wow!
It could be a 2-chapter book. But as you get into that phase, it's just like, for me, I can acquire money and all that stuff, but I want to leave a legacy for my kids. Yeah. Like I want them to look back. My grandkids. I have a granddaughter now. I don't know if you knew that.
I had no idea.
I have a 3-month-old.
This is new for me right now.
My daughter, my oldest
You are
daughter.
really old.
Yeah, I know. And thank you. So I'm ugliest in the group. I'm shortest, and I'm old. And I'm
well, you're the biggest. You're the biggest.
And I got big legs.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, when you see your kids and you're growing up and your grandkids and stuff, it's like I just want to leave them a legacy. You know, I can leave them money, all that stuff, but you just want to leave something bigger.